Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us for season two, episode four of with our guest speaker. We have the PB&JJ show. I am Paige Bradenkamp. I am the e-resources and school library consultant here at the Wyoming State Library, and I am the PB.
And I'm Joanne, the Youth Services Consultant at the State Library, and I'm the J. And our guest, Jessica, is the other J. Jessica, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'll be the extra jelly today. I love a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with lots of jelly. I'm the research and statistics consultant at the Wyoming State Library.
Following our theme of wellness and trying to combat or prevent burnout in the library and in our careers and our lives in general. Jessica is an expert when it comes to journaling. She has a lot of fun tips and tricks and tools to share with us. And journaling affects the brain and the neurology and how it'll help your brain to de-stress. And so journaling is kind of like two different things. It boosts the immune system, and it's also like a gym membership for your mental health. And this is how. The gym membership for mental health, it is like a cognitive offloading. So your brain has this limited memory space. And when you're stressed, all of your tabs are open at once. Like me yesterday when I had like 50 tabs on my computer and I was super confused what I was doing. Um, Writing things down helps your brain to like save and close that tab so you don't have to continue to have like 50 different things on your brain. There's also pattern recognition. Regular journaling allows you to look back and see trends in your behaviors or triggers. It's like a data analysis phase of self-improvement. The name it to tame it effect. Brain scans show that labeling an emotion like I feel overwhelmed reduces anxiety in the brain's alarm system, and it increases in the activity in the prefrontal cortex. So to boost the immune system, there's a study done in the 1980s by Dr. James Penbaker, and he researched expressive writing, where he had people write about their stressful or traumatic experiences for about 15 to 20 minutes a day and like noted what the changes were. They showed that they had cortisol reduction, which is the chronic stress that keeps us in the fight or flight mode. And so that also suppresses our immune system. The journaling in that study helped process the stress, lowering the levels and allowing the immune system to return to its full strength. But I'll hand it off to Jessica, who knows all about the journaling.
I don't know if I know all about it, but I'm very excited that you guys asked me to talk about something that I talk about all the time and love to share with everybody. So let's get started. Okay, so following the theme of the PB&J show, we have journaling, a recipe for wellness. I'm your chef today, Jessica Otto. I'm the research and statistics consultant at the Wyoming State Library. Today, I will kind of be setting that aside so that I can share my devotion to stationery, pens, ink, journaling, and all that great stuff. Some of my favorite things for journaling are my journaling buddies. You'll see on the screen my little journaling buddy, Rocky, the kitty cat, and then River, the dog in the cone of shame. Um, I love art journaling, mood journaling, fountain pens, and I love thin paper and fat journals like that take a long time to go through. That's my favorite. Um, so what works for me? And I'm going to reevaluate this at the end of the webinar because this is what works for me right now is using the percentage technique that we'll go over, the sloppy Joe method. We'll go over that as well. I carry my journal, like main journal with me everywhere. Even if I'm not going to use it, I carry it everywhere.
In case.
I like, huh?
Just in case.
Just in case. And it's kind of
Always
like an
be
emotional
prepared.
support buddy. I'm like, I could journal right now if I wanted to. Like, it's just there.
Yep.
Um, and it's kind of a proof of I have done things and it makes me a little more confident. Anyways, so rating daily affirmations, which is the plant a seed method we'll talk about, and music while I'm journaling is really important to me as well. My journaling foes and woes, trying to do all of it, everything. We can do everything, or we can do anything but not everything. That's one of my favorite things to live by. Making time for myself is also one of my biggest woes and foes. False perfectionism, and then conventional writing instruments and writing styles. And that might sound weird because we're talking about journaling, which seems pretty straightforward, but hold on. First, a
Right.
disclaimer. So what's on the menu? I told you we're going really into the theme of PB&J.
Love it. Love it.
So our first course, let's sit down at the table and challenge our perception of what journaling can be. The second course, we're going to talk about recipes and methods of journaling to inspire and nurture your practice. Third course, we're going to talk about utensils because just like a well-stocked kitchen, journalers have so many tools at their disposal. And then for dessert, you're going to take a to-go box of resources home with you. So what is journaling? I did go into the Cambridge Dictionary and find the boring definition of journaling, the act of writing what you have done each day, sometimes including your private thoughts, feelings, and goals. But in my own words, journaling is your personal practice of processing your emotions and strengthening that mind-body connection to express and release or channel those emotions into something useful. So let's eat. Today we're gonna go over our PB&J sandwich, grilled cheese, sloppy Joe. We're gonna pack our lunchbox, and then we have a dessert buffet. So, in honor of my host, the PB&J method, the pause, breathe, and journal. What's great about the PB&J method, it's traditional, and like any good comfort food, this is probably something you're familiar with. It's considered traditional for a reason. We learn this style of journaling in school. We can learn it from therapy. We can learn it from self-help books. We've probably often read a lot of journals as well in our research and in our school education, like the Dear America journals and stuff like that. It's not a bad method of journaling, but keep in mind that this isn't a school assignment anymore. This is your journal. And most of us have heard the phrase, well, just go journal about it or just go write it down. And it's like, that's not really helpful, or at least it wasn't for me for a really long time. It doesn't work for everybody. And it's a low requirement method of journaling, but it can feel like really high expectations when there's a blank page just staring at you and you're just supposed to like write down what happened today or what you're feeling. That can be a huge roadblock to what you are trying to. It can feel very unhelpful.
I remember when I was in elementary school, teachers would be like, write a one-page paper about anything. And I'd be like, but what
It's
is
too
what is
much.
anything? I don't know.
It's too many options. Here's some ingredients to get you started on your PB&J method. Journaling prompts other than just write about anything you want.
All of it, everything, all at once. Yes.
The internet is full of journaling prompts, and that can be overwhelming as well. So try to narrow your search by naming your mood or your general vibe with a feelings wheel, which we'll go over on the next slide. The Name It to Tame It method, which Joanne actually started the webinar with. So Dr. Daniel Siegel coined the term Name It to Tame It as a means to make sense of our feelings through processing. When emotions arise, we try to describe our internal state without having to explain or rationalize whatever we're feeling. This process promotes integration by strengthening our brain's language capabilities and connecting them to the spontaneous and raw emotions in other parts of the brain. This neurological process helps us calm down and feel more balanced. That was taken from an article on Psychology Today, which is cited at the bottom. And then some scientific stuff about the feelings wheel, which goes along with the Name It to Tame It. Hold your horses. It's all going to come together, I promise. We're putting the ingredients in there for the recipe.
Which just
Sandwich it, yeah. So Dr. Gloria Wilcox was really on to something. She is the inventor of the first feelings wheel. And the feelings wheel has been used in a lot of different therapeutic and psychological settings. But according to calm.com, the feelings wheel validates the diverse range of emotions we experience and can help us better pinpoint our triggers. It helps us understand that our emotional responses are valid and normal, which is especially important in cultures or environments that might stigmatize certain emotions. I want to point out here that cultures and environment seems like such a big word, but it can be as small as the culture or environment of your household or your workplace or the city or county that you live in. It doesn't have to be the grand overall culture and environment that you're part of. So just keep that in mind when you are considering what thoughts about journaling you already have and how those might be changing with this information and with your feelings. This validation fosters a sense of empowerment, encouraging individuals to embrace their feelings without judgment and also to better learn how to manage when they come up. The feelings wheel. This one is one of my favorites. It's from the Calm editorial team on calm.com. I love how thorough this is. Okay, so we're going to move on to the grilled cheese sandwich, which is rage journaling. That might sound weird at first. We're going to get there. So, grilled cheese, everybody has their own preferences, right? Some people like it lightly toasted, just a little melty cheese. Some people like it really burnt and gooey. Some people like it in the middle. Joanne likes it burnt and gooey. Nice. So it's kind of a use at your own need. But the grilled cheese method is similar to that feelings wheel. You're just gonna take whatever you're feeling and then dump it onto the page. You don't have to know the words for it. It's brain dumping is not, it can be anything you want. It can be a list, it can be scribbles, it can be sentences with like no punctuation, no spelling checks, no nothing. Like you're just dumping what's in your head. Usually mine is like a list, a numbered list for some reason, not even a bulleted list. They aren't ranked by anything, but then I go back and I'm like, those are the 10 things that were bothering me, or like the 11 or whatever. Like, so I just know how much I was carrying on my plate, I guess. Um, but rage journaling is just taking your rage to the page, I guess. It doesn't have to be anger, but a lot of times it feels like a much better way to express your anger or process your anger than, lashing out at somebody on accident or like word vomiting all over somebody because you're like, oh my gosh, I just can't take it anymore. Take your rage to the page first and then see if you can talk through things a little bit better. Or if you've processed it there and you don't need to talk about it, that's fine too. So utensils are important in grilled cheese, right? You got to use the spatula to flip it over unless you're like really good at the pan flip thing. I'm not. So my favorite writing utensil for strong emotional release, like rage journaling, is a permanent marker and a cheap notebook because permanent markers make really big fat letters and it makes it feel really important and like as big as I'm feeling, and a cheap notebook because then I don't have to worry about my pretty notebooks like getting messed up by negative feelings or like the marker bleeding through the paper and stuff. You can also like crumple it up afterwards and toss it away, and that feels really freeing as well. There's no rules here. Like that's the biggest takeaway. There's no rules. If privacy is a concern, and even if it's not, if you feel like maybe it's such a negative thing that you express that you don't really want to look at it, but you don't want to get rid of it, your rage pages don't have to be permanent. They can be turned into something really beautiful. So this page has been used with permission by Amy Williams of Amy Y'all on YouTube and Instagram. Her method is that you turn your journal upside down and then you write out all the heavy emotions and you just brain dump it onto the page. You turn it right side up and then you make something beautiful on top of it so that you can't really read the words later and that nobody else can read them. It feels like you made it into something like more positive or just more tangible than words on a page. And as she has said in her videos, you don't need to like have proof or documentation of all of your negative feelings. She says that when she looks back at these, even if she can't read the words, she's going to know, she's going to remember what she was feeling when she did it. So letting it out and be on the page is enough. And there's something there. It lives there, but it lives like through these other things as well. And I think that's really beautiful.
I will say for sure, this is inspiring me to be more creative too. Right now, I want to just draw. I want to do things with colors, and
I
I want
love
to
that.
just, yeah, this is really great. Even if it's not technically journaling, it's definitely inspiring me.
I love that. So the method that we just went over with Amy Y'all's covering it up into something else, I think that's a great approach for privacy in journals. It doesn't have to be, like it can be beautiful. You can cover the page with artwork like she did. You could cover it with stickers. You could cover it with scribbles. Like you could take, a marker, couple magic markers, cover them up. But this could be as simple as putting a password on a computer document or keeping it on your phone in a locked note or something like that. But like I said a little while ago, you can throw it out. So some emotional accessibility that kind of goes along with the privacy setting or privacy discussion as well, that there are other formats to access your emotional vulnerability. And while putting thoughts to paper has been shown to be the most effective and beneficial way for our brains to process information, it's not the only effective way of processing emotions. Anything is better than nothing. If I have a lot of stress on my way home from work, or a doctor's appointment, or a shopping trip, or like somebody, just anything that you're in the car, I like to ask Siri to start a voice memo. And then I record it, which sounds a little weird. Not everybody likes to record it. You could also just talk it out to nobody like being around in the car. But I like to record it because I like just like carrying around my journal everywhere. There's like something tangible almost about seeing that, oh, like, yeah, at this time on this day, there was like 8 minutes of me just ranting about something. And then like two thoughts came out of it that were really good that I want to remember later. Or like, oh, I did realize what was actually bothering me. I'm going to keep that and then like listen to it and then write about it later. So it's just making sure that I don't miss out on the positive part of that venting from the verbal journaling. There's also an app on iPhone now called the Journal app, and you can record voice memos, or you can also use it to dictate your voice into your words into a written version. And that is password protected as well through the password on your phone, which I really like just in case anybody got a hold of my phone, if I lost it somewhere. So there's tons of different apps out there as well for journaling and different things that you can do. Some people video journal.
You know what I like about this, Jessica, is it's also intentional. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, definitely, but I think I can speak for a lot of people that I know that we all talk to ourselves at some point, especially
Mm-hmm.
venting, driving home. But when you do it with the intention of you're recording it, you want to go back to it, you want to pull out those positives, it becomes a tool. It's not just you're
Mm-hmm.
venting to get it off your chest and then it's lost forever. It
Right.
becomes something that you can work with and actually try to make your situation, your life, your feelings all better. It's intentional, and I like that
Mm-hmm.
about this.
Yeah, that's a great vocabulary to use in this discussion. Tool and intentional. I think that's the most important part about any mental health practice, which is another word I like to use for journaling is it's a practice. Like you don't get
Mhm.
it right from the start. I can't count how many times growing up I was like, I'm gonna be a journaler. Like I'm gonna have a diary. And then like 3 pages in, it never happened again. Like so it wasn't until I started thinking about journaling in other ways like we're talking about here that I actually developed a habit and it's missing one, but these are like the journals I've filled out in the past couple of years. That's just wild to me. They're on a shelf at my house when they're not here to show off and I'm like those are my tools. Yeah, I can look back on a few years ago and see where I was and where I am now and what things concern me then and what concern me now. And I'm like, I see progress, and that's the most important thing to me. Doodling and drawing is also really great for your emotions to be expressed. I've linked here bilateral drawing. It's an article on bilateral drawing, which is warming up the whole brain. Basically, bilateral drawing, the way I do it is I use both of my hands. It's not going to look good. It's not meant to look good. I pick a color that I'm feeling and I pick a contrasting color, maybe that I want to feel like, and then I just draw on the page with both of my hands. And that feels regulatory, like it's regulating me. Like I'm using all of my body and it's calming me down. Also, doodling helps a lot when I like draw my little doodles of emotions and stuff. And of course, you can type on a computer. That can be a document that you keep on your local drive. It can be something in the cloud that you can access through all your devices. It could be an app specifically for it. So now we're going to get into things that might be a little difficult for us book lovers and stationery lovers to talk about. That's journal preciousness, which we're going to learn how to fight those blank page blues. But the sloppy Joe method is to mess up your beautiful, beloved book that you just can't find the nerve to write in, mess it up as much as possible because it's just paper. And your feelings are way more important than paper. We have erasers, we have whiteout, we have stickers. We have ways to clean up the mess that we make in our journal and make it prettier. Those are my favorite methods, like the whole like actually starting the book. So you got to take away the perfection. Some people rip out the first page. I like to skip the first page or their kids spill stuff on it.
Wait, where's mine? Hold on.
I know that you have an example, Joanne.
I do. I do. Example.
It made it less perfect, didn't it? It doesn't mean you can't treat your journals preciously either. Just find the balance that works for you. Or fill it with love, which is much gentler than these other methods. Have your family or friends sign the inside covers of your journal like a yearbook, or leave doodles on random pages for you to find later. Another thing I actually took from Amy Y'all was a good luck spot. And you just like you rub it whenever you need good luck. And so I put a little
Oh,
good
that's
luck
so
cut
cool.
right there.
That's cute. I love it.
Yeah. And it's just paper, guys. It's just paper. So now we gotta go over the whole lunchbox. I love this little dude. That means that you can fill your journal with lists, with pictures, with doodles, with like love notes to yourself or to other people or letters. You can fill it with collages, you can fill it with words, or you don't have to use any words at all. You can do whatever you want. One size does not fit all. Your lunchbox can be as large or as small as you need it to be. What works one school year may not work well the next. And just like a Willow backpack, sometimes we need to readjust things. Journaling community, yes, that's a thing, is wonderful. That's where I found Amy Y'all. That's where I found one of the next journalers that we're going to be speaking about as well. You don't have to journal alone. That can be as simple as looking up journal with me videos on YouTube. So much fun. Sometimes they're quiet. There's no words. It's just somebody recording themselves like their desk, like journaling along, and then you don't feel as, lonely. It's like being in I guess, a quiet reading book club. But there's also like talkative journal with me. It's like journal and chat videos on YouTube. There's meetup. You can meet up with friends for a coffee and journal date. You can start a club and spread the journaling joy. So that's it's a huge community and it's really a loving and wonderful community because it's intentional. This is some of my journaling. We're gonna start with this is what journaling looks like for me in the middle. Then we're gonna follow the crazy arrows all the way around. So the first picture up there is, and I remember this just by looking at the picture and wanted to just sit down and write it out. And I had the time. So I sat down in a cafe with some Starbucks and I was like, this is what happiness looks like to me, like contentment. This is what it looks like right here. The next picture, I was at a baseball game. On the bottom left, we have a spread I made for my birthday last year when my husband and I went on a hiking adventure with our dog. So the blue guy, and I used one ink and then I watered it down and like drew that in my journal. And the next picture is that I went to a museum when I was on a trip. We did not have a lot of time to go through this gigantic museum. So I started like writing down every thought that I had so I could think about it later. And then I see this picture of the museum. That's him journaling. And it said like he took his journal everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, how perfect. Last year, July 22nd, Ozzy Osbourne passed away. That was really impactful to me. So I painted one of his cover albums and I put all the words to Mama, I'm Coming Home. So these are all the various kinds of journaling that I do. And that's my secret recipe. That's what works for me right now. Daily documentation and junk journaling, urban sketching, which is like taking my notebooks to the ballpark and sketching what I see, processing my environment through paper. Prompt journaling. So if you aren't a journaler, it doesn't mean that you can't be. So this is the plant a seed handout. So yes, these are handouts that you can take home. The plant a seed, I did two different versions, one for an adult audience and one for a younger audience. Um, but it's the affirmations journaling that I mentioned that works for me pretty well. And it's to choose an affirmation, which is a positive thought. You like pause and reflect, check in with your body, because that mind body connection is really important. And how real does that thought feel to you in this moment? It's not a space for judgment, it's just a space for noticing what it feels like. This brings us to one of my other favorite YouTubers, journalers, Leanne Likes. This video changed my entire life of journaling. This is what got me to like actually journal and have a whole stack of journals. She goes through the 3 levels method, which level 1 is a no or low anxiety distress, feeling focused, relaxed, and present. Level 2 is moderate anxiety or distress. And level 3 is high anxiety and distress. You can't function or focus. And she says in the video, as you can see, the size of the journals got bigger when I thought about the increasing level of intensity of my emotions. And I feel like the more intense or more dysregulated I get, the I need more space. Sometimes before I even commit to writing on paper, the level of activation in my body from 7 to 10 requires me to move and engage. That really spoke to me, that whole method. So I'm going to go through what is my percentage technique, which is heavily inspired by Leanne Likes' video. So what I use is a scale of 0 to 100. So I take stock of where my emotions are at the moment if I'm struggling to write, because by now I've done this so much that usually I can tell where I need to be. So if I'm at a low percentage, for me, that means fun journaling and lighthearted creativity. If I'm at a moderate, like the moderate journaling is where it can also be creative, but it's not the same creativity. If it's a high percentage, I'm brain dumping. I'm writing lists. I'm writing something down and ripping it out or scribbling over it, and there's no creativity. It's just feelings. And where you draw the line on needing to vent before being creative, or even if you want to make sure that you have a space to be creative or not, that's totally up to you. This is just like a self-evaluation to figure out what you want from journaling. Hopefully that will help you as well. And then I'm going to mention utensils or whatever like makes you feel that connection between your brain and hand and the paper is the most effective to you. That's what you should try to use and try out different things as well. So grab your to-go boxes. It's time for dessert. These are my favorite journaling resources. I've listed a lot of YouTube channels. There's a lot of great conversations that go on there about journaling and about mental wellness and about life. I've also listed a lot of books that I have read over the years that have inspired my journaling journey. This is our little dessert bar so that nobody gets too overwhelmed. And then some professional resources as well.
Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Jessica. And this
Thank
was
you.
this was a fantastic, fun, very creative, very inspiring presentation. And I definitely want to check out some of the Journal with Me YouTube videos. That sounds great. Join us next time, everyone, for the next webinar in our PB&J series. And have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Today is a good day.
For PB&J. Yeah.